President Obama, let me begin by saying it is an honor to have you in town for an interview today. John, it is a pleasure to be here. Let us begin. First off, let me congratulate you on winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Your thoughts on winning the award? Well, John, I think that is simply a vote of confidence for what I campaigned on, hope and change. And, by hoping and being willing to change, you will see it is possible to have a world without nuclear weapons. It will be possible to have a world without good and evil. A world where we are all the same, no nation any better nor any worse than any other nation. Mr. President, do you believe this is truly possible? A world without good and evil, a world without nuclear weapons? John, I'm glad you asked. I believe this can be a teachable moment, not just for you, but for the world itself. When nations stop trying to dominate other nations, you will see no one will have a desire to build or acquire nuclear weapons. President Obama, with a record $1.4 trillion deficit this year and unemployment continuing to rise near double digits, I have to ask, was it a mistake to travel to Copenhagen, to make a pitch for Chicago, to get the Olympics with so much hardship here at home? John, I'm sorry, but I can't read my teleprompter. That is better. John, in Chicago we strive to celebrate what makes us different, just as we celebrate what we have in common. The fate of each nation is inextricably linked to the fate of all nations. No matter how or where we differ, we all seek our own measure of happiness or pride in what we do. Yes, but my question was specifically about unemployment and exploding deficits here in the United States. John, with all due respect, that question is above my pay grade. George Bush created a big mess. I can't clean it up overnight. Mr. President, with all due respect, given the fact you have been in office almost a full year, I was hoping for a more substantive reply. Let me be perfectly frank, I'm much more comfortable discussing myself, or my beautiful wife Michelle, and how our lives are a roadmap for all Americans to take direction from. May I suggest that The Audacity of Hope is available on Amazon.com for less than $4. I have already read it, but thanks. Let me move on to another issue, the stimulus package. President Obama, you campaigned on an appeal to bipartisanship yet hurried through your stimulus package without a single Republican vote. Your thoughts on this? John, to be bipartisan is much more appealing when your party is in the minority. Much less so when you have enough votes not to include the concerns of the opposition. I don't want the folks who created the mess to do a lot of talking. I just want them to get out of the way. Mr. President, are you concerned there seems to be growing opposition to your agenda? Not at all. In fact, if you tune in to MSNBC you will learn that the only people who are opposed to me are racists and lunatics who insist I was not born in this country. But Mr. President, many would argue that your support has diminished somewhat among voters who describe themselves as moderate. John, look, I will concede that I'm never going to be very popular with those bitter individuals who cling to their religion and their guns. But I will also tell you that my support has never been higher in Venezuela, Iran and Russia. It is a mistake to be too parochial when you talk about popular support.